All right, all right. So I normally do a whiteboard video on a Tuesday. Aim of the game is to do a couple of client calls and get the white. It's a flip chart. I always call it a whiteboard. Do a flip chart video. But today I'm going to do something different. Today, I just got off a call with 30 of our amazing C2C clients where we fixed their offers and their content engines live. And I realized that some of the advice I gave them might be exactly what you need to hear in order to fix it. So these are the exact sort of frameworks and structures that we help people implement inside C2C. The same that helped our brand new client, Emma, invoice 18.5 grand. So like 22K in dollars in January alone. I thought it was less than that. So what I've done is pulled the transcript analysis from Fathom. And this is exactly what goes into our C2C community after every single call. So there are a few topics that we spoke about, and I'm just going to riff on them. Hopefully it's going to be helpful to you, and hopefully you'll be able to take something away from it. So I'm yet to finalize the content module inside C2C. So we have buckets and buckets of stuff, but I've ripped the whole product up for the fucking 6th time. And it's been delayed on purpose, because when people come to work with us, a lot of the time is they're trying to put an offer out there that isn't validated. They're trying to put something out into the universe that they're trying to get people to buy without having had any real feedback or validation on it a lot of the time. So we actively prioritize conversations. So one-to-one private conversations, whether that's person to person or over the phone or through DMs or through emails or whatever, but private conversations one-to-one. And we deprioritize content and one-to-many, because it's so easy for everyone to default to content and think that they're entitled or deserving of inbound leads, when actually the fastest path to conversion is speaking to someone one-to-one, finding out what the problem is, and then putting an offer in front of them. And by doing that and having these conversations early doors, which is literally what we recommend doing the whole first month once we sort of validate or do a rough version of the offer, is having 30 days of what we call traction, gaining traction with your market. So going and speaking to ideal, on paper, sort of marketing qualified leads almost, to find out what they think, to then give you validation or not, feedback at the very least, introductions, money, whatever, but at the very least, feedback. So I riffed a little bit on the content engine itself today, and I thought it might be helpful for you guys. So I've now implemented just a very, very simple. I've tried to distill all the different frameworks that I've been fed from all the gurus over all the years, all the programs I've been in, also my own findings and teachings. And I've settled on a 4-part or a 4-pillar, as Fathom Transcript Analysis has called it, content engine. So it's a very simple platform agnostic framework that you can deploy across any platform that allows you to post content. And it's based on 4 Ps. It seems everything I do begins with the letter P, every framework I have. So I didn't want to like break character or break tradition. Therefore, the 4 Ps: personal content, problem content, proof content, and promo content. To break each of them down, personal content is stuff about you as a person, your hobbies, your likes, your dislikes, your opinions, the things you love, the things you do, your family, all that kind of stuff. All right. That has one job, and that is to build an emotional connection. Problem content is basically your business content. All right. This is something that you can put in front of people that makes them go, it makes a lot of sense to work with this person because their business or their sales argument or their offer makes sense logically on paper. The next is proof. So what we do here is take our own proof. So we may have released a book, we may have been on stage, but we also take client proof as well. So social proof of some form, and tell the story around it. All right. And what that does is boost trust. Lastly, we actually need to promote shit. So content that promotes a YouTube video, it could be your podcast, it could be a live like this one, it could be your lead magnet, it could be the fact that your doors are closing or you're pushing booking calls, could be that you want people to DM you, but it drives an action of some description. Now, I'm not saying you only need to post personal content on its own and then problem content on its own. if you're, or when you start getting good at writing copy and writing posts and speaking on camera or whatever it may be, you'll be able to blend all these things together. All right. In fact, this video now, if we just to give it some context, I am live. I am sat here in joggers. I am swearing. I am being myself in my natural environment. The only room I ever go into, I actually have a toilet and a bath underneath here, so I never have to leave the desk. But the only space I really inhabit when I'm online is here. And that is going to build some form of emotional response from you if you're watching this. Obviously you are, else you wouldn't have heard those words. Problem content, I'm going to get onto that because a lot of people have problems when it comes to content and offers and stuff like that. Proof, well, I'm kind of giving you proof here. I've mentioned Emma did a load of new clients last month, which is great. There's kind of some proof because there's loads of lovely people's faces up at the top. So we have clients. And then I am going to drive a direct action by promoting something. And it's something free, so you don't need to worry. I have just dropped a brand new training on how to build an 8 to 15K a month coaching offer. So the link is in the description. I'll stick it in the comments as well once the live is finished. But you can go and grab this for free. It's very short. It shows you the other P's that you need in place. So the people, the problems, the phases, the parts, the price, and the promise that wraps around everything, and how you can implement that very, very quickly. All right. So you can go and grab that straight away. I've just blended all four. And obviously I'm just freestyling this kind of stuff. I've got the document for structure, but whatever. All right. So let's hop into these, the other stuff in a little bit more detail. I build a lot of tools for our clients to speed things up. I've just released 2 amazing tools to our C2C scale clients. I've just released another tool to our C2C build clients. And that tool is the MQO stack. So this is mainly for business content or problem related content, but there are a load of reasons why someone might not take the next action in the journey with you, whatever reason being, but there's some behind it. And I've bucketed these into 3 sets of, or 3 pillars if we're going with the original theme: misconceptions, questions, and objections. So misconceptions, they think something different to the truth, or it's a lie that they may be telling themselves. Therefore, they're not going to book a call or buy. Questions, they might just be unsure about a few different things. And then objections, reasons that they don't think they should buy, reasons that they would put a halt or a stop in the sales process or the journey for whatever reason. And all of these 3 things can be split out across another 7 pillars or 7 buckets. So people may have misconceptions about money. They may have questions about how suitable you or your service are. They may have questions about the results. They may have objections to the method that you use or the way that you do things. They may have some misconceptions around how different you are to other providers, so your USP. They may have objections around what they think, or misconceptions around what they think the support is that they may get. They may also have objections around the time it takes for you to help them reach that desired result. All right. But what this tool does that I've built, you basically attach your offer, which we help our clients build. You then attach any sales copy you might have, any sales call transcripts, stuff like that, and you upload it to our MQO stack tool. And then that gives you, it's very logic focused rather than personal focused, because I always find AI is very shit at writing personal content. But it gives you 75 logical arguments, what their angles you can take in content. They are MQO sort of, or FAQ, I should say, pillars for your website or for documents that you send to people ahead of calls. It could be email content, whatever, but it gives you 75 logical arguments for problem content. So it's literally all your business content taken care of to some degree. And it'll give you 25 misconceptions, 25 questions, 25 objections. And it takes seconds. All right. And all you have to do is cherry pick the best few. You can go live about any single one of them. You can write an email about any single one of them. You could schedule a whole month of content if you wanted ahead of it. But this tool will help you create business content and problem-focused content that shifts the way your potential buyers think about you or your service or your offer or your coaching program or whatever it may be. All right. So that was the first thing that we ran through. And it was really interesting because when I sit down every single Wednesday to write my content, Tuesday is a call day. So I just have calls on Tuesdays. Wednesday is my content day. And I spend the first couple of hours before I go to the gym writing content. And I just write one long form piece So probably spend about 20 minutes, half an hour on each of these 4 things. What is a personal thing that's happened to me recently? How did it make me feel? Is there a lesson learned from it? Does it tie over to business anyway? Is it funny? That kind of stuff. Then I'll write a problem piece. So it might be something like this. I might talk about the content engine, or I might talk about how we helped so and so achieve this goal or break through this plateau or whatever it may be. Then I'll look through our client wins, and if we haven't got any, which we always fucking do, but if we don't, I would just go and reference an older set of wins that I helped a client achieve, and then I'll sit down and think about, well, what am I promoting and why? At the moment, I'm very focused on promoting a series of lead magnets that I've spent hours and I've spent a lot of money on them as well from an editing perspective, putting together. And they're my 4 angles for the week. So and through the week, you're always collecting. I always say have an ideas bank, so a place that you can store ideas very, very quickly, and you just bring them to fruition when you have a little content block every single Wednesday. Anyway, the MQO tool really helps speed up the problem related content. Then we talked about like refining offers and refining your positioning. So there are a few specific, and these are straight from Fathoms. I've not actually changed this document too much, but Liam had a challenge. He's been collecting all this data. So he wants to refine his offer, but he's been collecting data and analyzing sales call transcripts, going through our first 30-day sprint of traction campaign. So I tried to give him the most basic framework possible, which is you look at your head in terms of, okay, what does the data say? So you can analyze those call transcripts. You look at your heart, like what do you like about these calls that you're having and the feedback you've got? Which direction do you want to go into? And then you also look at your gut. All right. How does each one of these patterns that you're spotting, positive or negative, actually make you feel? And that should allow you to iterate on certain elements of the 6 Ps, which again, come to the link. You'll be able to get the training for free and there'll be more context on that. So Liam actually came to a realization on the call that his original offer that he'd already built before coming to C2C hit him harder in all 3 of those areas. What he'd done was come in and try and build a new one, which we will advise to some clients, not every client. He went in a slightly different direction just to see if the grass was greener. And turns out in under 30 days, he's got the realization that it's not fucking greener and he needs to stay in his original lane, just refine it, not replace it. Rebecca's challenge was slightly different. So Rebecca helps agency owners basically diagnose and fix any leaks in their client delivery, essentially the project management. So there's no way that, and she will build out systems to help people with this. There's no way that she's going to be able to just sell someone a retainer straight away because she has to do a diagnostic thing first. And she was kind of getting caught up in, well, which bit of this do I sell and how do I position it? And I kind of drew a diagram, which I called the arch, as you can see here. We've got sad clients, they're losing money, leaking profit, whatever it may be. And then on the other side, we've got happy clients where they're not leaking any profit, they're all smiling, all dancing. And then we've got this arch that kind of connects the two. And that is Rebecca and her offer. Thing is, what most people do is get caught in the mechanism. And you can help people across the arch to reach success from sad to happy without having to worry about too much about what goes on in the middle. Because if we look at, like, I help people who aren't getting many leads, nail their offer, nail the content strategy, and get clients. That's the simple arch. All right. Underneath that, or the mechanism, or the way that I do it, it could be through one-to-one coaching. It could be through group coaching. It could be a membership. It could be a course. It could be all these different things. I don't put all that out into my marketing. I focus on the arch rather than the mechanism that sits underneath it. And I think Rebecca found it very helpful. She said she did. I don't know if she was just humoring me. So we have one of the P's inside the Master Offer Builder, which is the phases. All right. What are the 3 to 5 phases or stages or major milestones of the journey that you take clients through? So ours are build, market, sell. But we don't harp on about those too much in the marketing. We talk about the overarching thing and bang that drum as much as we can. And that drum for Rebecca was help increase agency profit margins to 25% rather than her 3 phases, which were diagnose, build, keep them on a retainer, basically. So Johnny had a challenge as well. I'm not going to go into that one too much. but we did recommend using a behind closed doors strategy to niche down rather than putting it all out into the marketing. So the problem with this, that most people have, is they change shit up all the time in their marketing. And that is a real issue, because you want to become known for the one thing. So how can you find out if an idea or a niche or an offer is relevant if you're changing all the time? You can't. So our advice to new clients who come in, if they want to niche down but don't want to do it publicly, is not to tarnish or dilute your current reputation or standing or marketing. You just keep everything nice and wide on the external front. So all your content, your profile, your links, things like that. But behind closed doors, the people that you're targeting are, like, with connection requests or follows or DMs or emails or whatever it is, you hyper niche in those areas. So that might be locations, might be industries, might be gender, might be age, whatever. But you don't go and splash that all over the marketing to begin with, because you want to run a behind the scenes or a private test to make sure that it's validated. We then went into lead gen and collecting proof. So Dom is one of our clients, and he has a very elongated sales cycle compared to most people. So he has a brilliant offer. People are interested. He's having calls with these people, and they are interested in finding out more and also potentially working with him, but not just yet. So it's not a pricing issue. It's actually a timing issue for Dom. So we just had a quick look around in Sales Nav, and located a couple of groups of people that already have specific interest in the thing that he sells. So they're further along in the journey, and he's now going to go and test and speak to those people and put 2 different offers in front of them to allow him to find out what's worth pursuing. So I don't usually give this advice. I did recommend, like, constructing a low ticket offer just to get some quick cash in, but only on calls when the high ticket offer has been tested. Emma, just off the back of 18.5 grand invoiced in Jan, which is amazing. So we have validated her offer. She knows exactly what she's doing. And while she's been doing it, she's created some amazing client results. So she needs to capitalize on them. So I gave her a few different options in terms of where you can get images and screenshots and voice notes, or we can go the whole hog and we can have a video interview. And she then asked, well, what questions do I need to ask on these video interviews? So I was like, simple. BDA, all right? It's the BDA formula. What happened before working with us? What happened during working with us? And what happened after or as a result of working with us? So what that will do is force clients to think in compartmental states in terms of, I was here before I started working with Emma. When I worked with Emma, this is what it felt like, and these are the results it produced, all right? So the process for that is always have a proof bank, all right? Screenshot any positive messages, any voice notes, anything that you get sent. Then we want to curate them and make them look good and add context. So what was the big outcome? What was the time frame that people got? What other info do we have about this client that other potential clients will identify with? And then if you need to, interview people. So 30-minute calls to mine for nuggets, which you can then repurpose into short form videos. I don't know why it says the word hooks. Should just say video. Cool. And then we have an in-person event on the March the 13th in Manchester. I am still undecided as to whether we open that up for external tickets. But if you are interested in potentially coming to C2C Live, I think it's C2C Live number 7. These events are off the fucking hook. There's a bunch of clients coming. All the team will be there. It's going to be amazing. But you can DM me the word event or live or whatever. Tickets will be about 400, 500 quid, something like that. We'll see if I promote it. I don't know. Anyway, here's my promo. So the 4th strand, 3rd time. If you want to find out the first thing that we help all our clients with, which is building an offer that's going to allow them to generate anywhere from 18 for Emma, 8 to 15K a month and well beyond. There is a free training. It's very, very short. It's just the essential parts, nothing else. You can go and grab it. I'll stick the link in the comments. It'll be around somewhere as well, in the description or whatever. Anyway, I've got a call with my accountant and then a call with Vicky, who's our client success lead. And then I'm done for the day. But that's Tuesday's call day. And I'll see you soon.